Good morning. I hope you're well. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee while we're waiting for the spinning circle of doom to stop spinning. And it's Wellness Wednesday, so thanks for joining me where you are. And I was up at 4:30 this morning by choice for a change as opposed to by chance, thanks to my gorgeous 2-year-old. So this morning at 4:30 I got up and I went and met three other lovely ladies and we hiked up Mount Stewart, and I've never done it before. And it was pitch black. And so I went with a friend for the first time because I drove to her house and I went in her car because I told her I was a scaredy cat going there on my own for the first time and not parking in the right place or missing the turn in the pitch black. So that was fun because it was a challenge. I've never done it before. So it's nice to challenge yourself to do new things every now and then. Also, we couldn't really talk a lot on the walk up because there was a lot of heavy breathing. But on the walk down, the four of us had a great chat and good laugh about life and everyday stuff, and it really set me up for the day. And now I'm having another cup of coffee because I think I might need some more coffee to get me through after my 4:30 um, get up today. So I thought I'd spend not a long today, but a short amount of time talking to you about ruminating. Now, I've realized that until a few years ago, I didn't know what ruminating was. But when I found out what it was, I realized, Chrissy, you're an expert at ruminating. And I wanted to fix it. So if you don't know what ruminating is where you are playing the same stories and thoughts over and over and over and over in your head consistently on a long-term basis, and the ending never changes, and you don't do anything with those thoughts other than continually have them. So the textbook definition of ruminating is the process of continuously thinking about the same thoughts, which tend to be sad or dark or just infuriating, basically, is called rumination. A habit of ruminating can be dangerous to your mental health as it can prolong or intensify depression as well as impair your ability to think and process emotions. So, as someone who suffered with insomnia, I would lay awake at night doing a lot of ruminating for long periods of time throughout my life. And the thing about ruminating is you actually think you're doing productive thinking, but you're not doing productive thinking because you're not breaking the cycle of repetitive thoughts. And rehashing the same stuff over and over again is not helpful if you can't distance yourself from it. So, since I learned about the process of ruminating and realized I was an expert at it, I became very curious about that because I wanted to see how I could stop being a ruminator and stop being an insomniac. So, some of the things I've thought about since then is how do I distance myself from my thoughts? How do I constructively think about my thoughts? And how do I break that cycle of my thoughts affecting my feelings, affecting my behaviors? And that becomes a cyclical loop. So if I want to have different behaviors or new habits, I need to break the thoughts that are generating the feelings that are generating the behaviors. So those were kind of a few key things. Now, I'll paste a link to a very useful article in the comments after this live so you can read a little bit about ruminating for yourself, because I've been talking about it recently with groups of women that I've met. And many people say, oh, I've never heard that term before. But yes, I do that. I do that a lot. I wish I knew about this 20 years ago. So my life has changed dramatically since I've stopped ruminating because I realized I can do constructive thinking, which is the thinking that is planning and problem solving and being organized. That's useful thinking. But the ruminating thinking, which is playing that blockbuster story over and over and over in your head, is not constructive and it's not useful and it's not helpful. So that's where we can start to challenge ourselves a little bit more consciously and mindfully when we are thinking. So how do we break that cycle? Well, it takes practice. And the first thing you need to do is to notice and to be aware of your thoughts. And that's, a key principle of mindfulness fundamentally. But it's okay, you notice your thoughts. Well, what do you want to do about them? Because if you practice not ruminating consistently, you open up a whole new space within your brain to kind of think creatively or to grow or to have new ideas or new stuff in your life. So, you might even, for instance, write a book when you stop ruminating, and that's a really good thing to do. So there's lots of things you can do to stop ruminating, but there's 5 that I've just chosen from this article, which is useful. First of all, you can distract yourself. You can say, okay, I'm thinking about this. What else can I be doing with my time? What else can I be doing with my thoughts? You can also be curious. What am I ruminating about? Why am I ruminating? What's coming up for me? Why do I keep going over this? So the more curious you are about it, you can start to ask yourself those kind of self-reflective questions about what that rumination is. Understanding your triggers. So if you've had a stressful day, you might ruminate more. If you've got a reoccurring issue in your life that could cause you to continually ruminate about it. So those are kind of understanding what triggers you to ruminate. You can try meditation. That's very helpful to break the cycle of ruminating. And then also you can create a support system, which sounds kind of basic, um, but if you have other people around you that you can talk to and say, I noticed that I'm ruminating about this, this, and this, you can kind of discuss it in a more objective way, and whether it's rational or irrational or just ruminating stuff, because we are all um, it's something that affects all of us from time to time, but there are people who are, let's say, more attached to their thoughts, and they could generally be considered overthinkers. So overthinkers probably tend to ruminate more. But once you start understanding your process of a rumination and what your triggers are, you can start to develop your own coping strategies around them. Because one of the things that we have in society now is a large percentage of our population is poor levels of mental and emotional health, because we don't understand the role that ruminating plays in our life. So if we can understand the role ruminating plays in our life on an individual basis, we can start to develop our own coping strategies. So distract yourself, being curious, asking yourself questions, understanding your triggers, trying meditation, and creating a support system are some of the things that I have done, which have been really helpful. And now when I catch myself ruminating on something that kept me awake 20 years ago, I say to myself, Chrissy, is this helpful? Why are you thinking about this? What do you get out of it? What would you do differently? Can you change it? No. Can you go back? Can you forgive yourself? So I start to kind of be more but just a little bit more kind of putting on the coaching hat and saying to myself, okay, well, where is this getting me? Is it helpful? And if my head hits the pillow and I start ruminating, then I know that's a trigger for me, and I want to break that pattern as soon as possible, because our thoughts affect our feelings affect our behaviors, and if you want new behaviors and new feelings, we need to change our thoughts. So I wanted to leave you with that today on Wellness Wednesday, because I think it's almost impossible to have good health emotionally, physically, as well as mentally, if we're stuck in ruminating cycles, because they are very dangerous, as the definition that I read to you earlier says. So I'll paste a useful article in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful day, and wherever you are, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.